According to media reports, the federal government granted a Nigerian visa to renowned extremist and Islamic preacher Dr. Abu Amina Bilal Phillips, who has been banned from a number of countries because of his messages. Phillips has already been banned from countries like Australia, Germany, United Kingdom, United States of America, Kenya, amongst many others. The Minister of Interior, Abba Moro, said Phillips was granted visa because he met the requirements. He stated that if the cleric's preaching and activities are seen to be inimical to the security of this country, that the government is up to the task of repatriating him as soon as possible. Against the backdrop of Boko Haram insurgency, is this a good move on the part of the government? What do you think? It's your view. Let it count. Call us on 070-8066-8014. You can tweet to us at YourViewTVC. We'd like to hear your thoughts on this. All right, I'm not going to start with Nima because Nima is all for this gentleman.
Let us start, oh.
Okay, let's start.
Hear what she's saying.
No, you let me hear your thoughts on this, because you were saying that, I mean, before the show started, you were saying that you know that this man is not an extremist.
Yes, I have his tapes, I've listened to him. In fact, he was in Nigeria some years back, and I attended one of his lectures.
Really?
And he was speaking on education. You know, as a Muslim girl, I was brought up in both Western education as well as Islamic education. And when someone preaches it, it's not strange to me. But some of my friends will find it extremely strange that he emphasized that you should also get Islamically educated. And I see that when someone understands his faith, there's nothing really to fear.
But for countries like the US, Australia to ban him, don't you think they would have seen something?
Okay, for that of Germany, I followed up because it happened recently. He went to Germany in a public place and preached against homosexuality. He preached against it to the point he explained how it is an offense in Islam and how it should be punished. And the German people felt he was, inciting their people against something that their laws have allowed.
Okay.
And immediately he was banned from speaking in public, arrested and
he wasn't preaching Islamic extremism.
What did he preach in Australia that they banned him?
I didn't follow that, but for that of Germany, I had the tape. It was recent.
Okay, let's come to Uwa. What are your thoughts on this gentleman?
I think it's a wrong move that the government did. You see, you can't use your place as a place for experiments. Before they term someone a terrorist, I was trying to look through. I looked and I was searching for forms, like the way you want to go to the UK, you download the form. I was looking. I wanted to see what the criteria were when they said that he met certain criteria, because there are some clause in the form when you fill in the UK, they'll say, have you ever been linked to any form of terrorism and something? And you answer yes. They cannot give you that visa. Do you understand? Because already he's been linked to terrorism in other countries. Yeah. You are just giving one from Germany, and that one is just one out of many. Now, this guy was a converted Muslim.
But I think,
and you see, history.
No, I need to ask one question.
History has shown that people that converted to this thing. Look at the guy now that they just the Woolish killing, the Woolish killing. He was a Christian that was converted to a Muslim, and they become extremists. They start to preach things that are not really Islam.
Yes. Well.
No, I was just going to ask you, what if you ticked no?
No.
In that place where they say,
but
have you ever been
linked?
linked?
Tick no, then that is where intelligence of a nation comes in. If you tick no in the UK and you've been linked to terrorism, you think they will not catch you? They will get you.
I actually read the article further, and I realized that the requirements the Minister of Interior was referring to were things like, have you say how long do you want
and
to
your
stay
finances,
the basic stuff
that
they ask of.
Basic.
But and I'm like, is that requirement? This is a whole terrorist.
This man is
what kind of requirements?
Public lecture that will be holding at Sky Pavilion. It is
and
a public lecture. Of course, if I have the time, I will.
Where is he holding?
Sky Pavilion, Ikeja here. I would attend it. Because I've attended some of his lectures before. I am someone that is extremely against these killings.
Yes.
And one of his lectures that I had, he talked about suicide bombing and how it's extreme, it is a sin and all that. I heard it all through.
But for people,
in fact, Muslims were criticizing him for saying that suicide bombing was a sin. Other people were criticizing from other Islamic countries were criticizing this same person.
See,
if he has extremist
but for
views,
other nations, I mean, we're talking about
Kenya, there's the United Kingdom.
I have the countries here: UK, US, Australia, Germany, Kenya, amongst many others, have said this man is a terrorist, and he preaches extremist messages. Now, these are countries. You're saying from your own perspective, I can understand that, but in view of the fact that we have this precedence to follow, should Nigeria be easily willing to give this man a visa? At least there should be some kind of restriction, like, you know what, okay, even if he comes in, he's been followed, or there's
Definitely
gotta be
they will
something.
do that.
Who told you that? In
Definitely
this our
they will
country?
follow him.
You know,
Definitely
I
they will follow him.
listened.
Because when the other sheikh came, there was a time when one of them came, it was a national stadium. We saw the intelligence people around, flocking around, and then Boko Haram had not even started. They were around us throughout, and the stadium was full. The main bowl of the stadium was full to capacity.
But in this, with the backdrop of Boko Haram, is it appropriate to have extremely preaching
He is not
anywhere?
linked to Boko Haram.
You know, I think I'm trying to get his name. Is Adebayo now? The one in the village?
Yes, now.
Yes.
I watched a complete documentary on him. You know, how he started and how he started preaching, you know, like that. If you listen to his preaching, prior to that time, it wasn't really on violence until the day he brought out this thing. They've been, you know, warning him, they were arresting him, because they still left him to keep
gradual.
preaching. They left him. He was still preaching,
Abu Amina
and there was no,
is not
until
a
that
young boy.
day, he faced the camera and started slaughtering the British soldiers.
This man is not a young boy. He converted to Islam in 1972. He's not, you can't compare him to Adebayo. And
Let me take Gloria's call, Nima. Let me take Gloria's call. Good morning, Gloria. Are you there?
Hello, good morning.
Hello, Gloria. Good morning. Thanks for calling. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm a first-time caller.
First time
Welcome.
caller.
Welcome to the
Calling
show.
you for the
Go
first
ahead.
time. Good morning. I
Good
love
morning.
your show. I love your crew.
Thank you.
Yeah. My own contribution is concerning yesterday's program. Hello?
Yes, yesterday was fire for fire.
It was really fire for fire. But at the same time, I really appreciate you people. I appreciate you. I love the job you are doing. Keep it up.
Thank you, Gloria.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Have a nice day.
You too then.
Bye.
Take care. Yes. Waike, I've not heard your thoughts on this matter.
I'm listening. Continue arguing.
So you're okay with the gentleman coming into the country?
You see, I have to know more about him before I criticize. I don't want to just criticize him and then say, if he's a terrorist,
Okay,
then
fine.
he shouldn't come.
Okay, let me throw this at you, Waike. Fine. Maybe we don't have enough evidence that he's a terrorist or not. Maybe indeed he's a good teacher, just like Nima has said. However, in view of the fact that there's Boko Haram insurgency all over the place, and we're trying to protect the people, in the list of actions that the Nigerian government can do, is it appropriate for us to actually grant somebody who at least has some kind of relationship with this
I'm afraid
sect?
for this man. You know why I'm afraid for him? If anybody speaks against Boko Haram, even if he's a sheikh like Albani that died,
Yes, I was just going
Boko
to
Haram will go and
talk about
eliminate
him.
that person. In fact, this guy should be protected. I'm afraid for him because I know him. I've followed him, and I know that if he crosses the line
You
with
can't
Boko
say
Haram
you
in this
know
country,
him, Nima. That's a very wrong statement.
Uwa.
You would, you don't know him. You don't know any human being. As I'm sitting here, you don't know what is on my mind. You don't know what is on Mariah's mind. Don't say that you know him.
Okay,
That's
I know
one.
him
Don't-
so
you say-
far as I've listened to
you
him.
know, you will say maybe you.
So far as I've listened to him, and I know he emphasizes.
Well, has a good point,
You can't
because God forbid this guy
you
become a
can't-
terrorist
yes, now, you
tomorrow.
can't be
This
so
guy
sure.
don't-
They'll come and pick you up and say that you say you know him. Oh yeah, come and produce. No, it's true.
They should come and
you
pick me
you
up.
don't know him. You
Let
just
me
know
take
that.
a call. I think I have a call. Good morning. Are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Good
Yes, sir.
morning.
Go ahead.
My name
George.
is calling from
Thanks for calling.
The thing is, these people, they are really causing problem in this country. And let me tell you something. Anytime you see a Christian that turns to a Muslim, that's the beginning of the destruction of their life. An instance is Michael Jackson and Muhammad Ali. The day they turned from Christianity, just like you living light and moving to darkness, that's the beginning of the problem in their life. Bringing in an Islamist down to Nigeria again is another beginning of another problem. So the best thing is this lady that is defending him, if anything should happen, she'll be number one suspect before arresting the person that granted that individual.
Exactly. All right. Thank
My
you very
question
much,
to George
George.
has he been in Nigeria since we've been having all these killings in Nigeria?
See, that's not the point, Nima. Listen,
Maybe
it
he will
is-
solve the
don't-
problem.
don't-
listen.
Maybe now let's go to him. He might solve the problem such that if we have SSS agents follow him about, hopefully he contacts one of these Boko Haram people and leave. Because right now Boko Haram doesn't have a face. So if he's indeed an extremist, while he's in Nigeria, we expect him to go and contact one of these people.
Could not link Boko Haram. They could not name Boko Haram. The moment you have a meeting, imagine one of the sheikhs that was killed because Obasanjo visited him some years back to discuss on Boko Haram.
That was
Immediately
Boko Haram.
Obasanjo left
That
him
was the Sheikh. That was the Boko Haram person. It was a suspect.
and he was killed.
Yes.
if that person had, considered to naming Boko Haram, in fact, I fear for Sheikh Abu Amina Bilal Phillips. I fear for him.
My dear, the truth is that if a country, not more than one, not one, not two, a lot of countries have tagged this person that he's a terrorist. As a country, intelligence will tell you that don't just grant visas to those kind of people. At least not now, when there's so much. Look at the number of killings again today in Borno State. When there's so much mayhem and everything, chaos in the country.
And I'm sure he's coming to Lagos. I'm sure. He's
been to Lagos before.
Let's talk
there was
to
no
Abraham.
There was no bombing where he was.
Sheikh is coming.
The Sheikh is welcome, I beg. Because I'll be attending.
Hello, good morning.
Thanks for calling. Go ahead.
Hello, good morning.
Go ahead. Thanks for calling.
I'm first time caller.
Yeah, welcome to the show. Yes.
I just like to say hi to Morayo and Hua. I love your program.
Thank you very much, Abraham.
Great job.
All right. Thank you very much.
I miss Asilade and all others, everybody.
Okay. Thank you very much, Abraham. Appreciate your call.
Bye-bye.
All right. So I think we need to round up this segment because
I need to just say something because in 2000 to Lima, sorry, in 2007 he was banned from Australia because of the national security said he was a threat. In 2010 he was banned from the UK. And this is not all at once.
Thank you.
In 2011 he was banned from Germany. Now you say that one is because of the homosexuality.
He had the preaching.
And in 2012 he was banned from Kenya.
And Nigeria
Even
is
an African country.
Open arms.
You don't understand?
Come, I'll give
you
you
don't
visa.
do that. You don't do that.
Over possible from Kenya over possible terror links because
possible
you see,
the
let me
I
tell you
remember
the way the Western world
that was
behaves.
when the Kenyan attack happened.
Let me tell you the way the Western world behaves. The way the Western world behaves is if you just have even just a dust,
even a statement,
you will not enter that country.
Yes, so let me talk to Abel. Good morning, Abel. I think it's our last call for this morning. Good morning, Abel. Are you there?
Good morning.
Thanks for calling. Go ahead.
I like your show. I like what you're doing.
Thank you, sir.
But I want to just ask us some questions. Are we saying they should ban that guy because he's been banned from other countries, or because you have read and have heard his teachings, his lectures, and you think he's an extremist to the core? Don't you think we should give him a chance and hear, and probably his visit might in one way talk to those guys, those BHs. You know those guys now?
Yes.
Teaching might want to talk to them, and if the country that they are fighting against is giving an extremist like that a chance to come air his lectures, don't you think it's something good? As in, we're trying to preach this unity that I've always said we're preaching.
Thank you very much, Abel. I think you made your point.
Mario.
Wait, I'll come to you now because, in fairness to what Abel just said, the truth is when this homosexual matter came on, the whole world rejected what Nigeria is, but Nigeria is standing its ground. So on this matter, if Nigeria says, listen, this man is not a terrorist, I'm bringing him visit, we should be able to trust the government to a point. But that's according to Abel's point. But you're saying, listen, even though
completely agree
the
with
whole
Abel.
world,
Except if Boko Haram would not tell me,
2012.
except if Boko Haram would tell me now that they are two-faced. Because they are completely against education. This is supposed to be he cannot relate
This
to
man
Boko
is
Haram.
extremely educated.
No, hold on. That's what I'm saying. Hold on. This is somebody that is extremely educated. He's a doctor, for goodness sake. So except if they want to tell me now, maybe there's a comma somewhere. Because ideally, Boko Haram is not even supposed to talk to because they are against Western education.
In 2012, he was banned from Kenya because he was indicted. They didn't catch him, but he was supposed to be a co-conspirator with the World Trade Center bombings.
indicted means that he's been indicted. That means
Do you understand?
was he convicted?
He wasn't
indicted?
Those that were not
his possible
even,
terror links.
people that were not even indicted were held at Guantanamo Bay. They were dealt with, serious extreme human rights
Can
abuses.
somebody come and take you now and go and hold you in Guantanamo?
Who are those
Let's take
things
some
happen?
Let's take a
Nima,
couple
I
of
have nothing against you.
Olomo Bolaji says, let the sheikh go to Borno or Abuja, not Lagos. Emeka Odike says, wants to eradicate the atrocities. I don't know what he's saying. Emeka says, I wish, all could understand that the issue of Boko Haram is not all about JEJ alone. It's a collective interest if we truly want to eradicate.
Okay, on that note, we have to round up this way. But I think the strongest argument on this table comes from Nima, saying that, listen, this gentleman,
I'm
she's
sorry,
heard his teachings, and she's saying he is not a terrorist, according to you.
Yes.
But Nima, whose argument is also strong, saying that, listen, regardless of that, we shouldn't, even especially with the Boko Haram situation right now, we shouldn't even encourage a man like that to come to the
guy that
country.
finally went with a knife to slaughter that British soldier, he was not preaching violence from the beginning. So you don't say that you know him.
was
All right,
violent
I'm
from
sorry.
the
All
beginning.
right, so
I'm sorry.
Up next, we're going to have a guest to shed more light on the ugly cesarean section. Is it ugly? Not that ugly. Don't let me say that.
I won't say that
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
I had this.